Hey there, everyone. It's Angela Gargano, and welcome back to What If It All Goes Right. We're heading into a new year, and let's be real, most of us have a long list of goals we've set in the past that didn't exactly stick. And you know what I'm talking about, right? Those resolutions that sounded amazing on January 1st and somehow disappeared by March. If you've ever set a goal, crushed it for a few weeks, and then lost steam, you're not alone, but that cycle is going to end today. In this episode, I'm breaking down the 7 steps to actually setting and reaching your goals, not just writing them in a notebook and forgetting about them later. And if you follow these 7 steps, I promise you'll set yourself up to finally actually follow through. Before we dive in, make sure you're following the What If It All Goes Right podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you've been loving these episodes, it would mean the world to me if you left a quick rating or review. That's how we keep this community growing. All right, let's dive into it. Welcome to What If It All Goes Right, the show for high achievers who are ready to stop fearing the worst and start stepping into their power. I'm your host, Angela Gargano, 6-time American Ninja Warrior, keynote speaker, peak performance coach, and former biochemist. Every episode, I'm going to give you the mindset shifts and practical tools to shake off the doubt, reignite your energy, and remember just how powerful you really are. Because it's time to stop fearing the worst and start asking, what if it all goes right? What if it's already going right? Okay, let's dive into step number 1, which is getting clear on what you actually want. Now, this sounds super obvious, but most people skip this. You can't hit a target that you haven't defined. So what's the thing you actually want right now? Not what you think you should want or what everybody else wants for you. It might be building strength, starting your own business, or finally running that 10K. Whatever it is, write it down, say it out loud, and own it. Because clarity is going to bring you that confidence. Because when you don't know where you're headed, it's way too easy to drift. And I think what's also really powerful about understanding how to get clear on what you want is knowing that you may not be clear on it on day 1, right? You may sit down and when someone they ask you a specific question and for some reason you just can't figure out the answer for some reason because it's just like that pressure is on. So giving yourself a moment to sit down and not just in one day, but maybe utilizing multiple days to really sit down and define what you truly want. Sitting in a stillness, getting away from the scroll, getting away from social media, getting away from anybody's opinions, and really sitting with it, writing it down, looking at it, and getting very clear and specific. Because I know for me, I've had goals before, which they weren't actually my goals. They were somebody else's goals, right? So when we say get clear, just know it's not going to happen right away. Sometimes you write the stuff out, you sit with it, and you ask yourself, is this truly what I want? And really give yourself that opportunity. I think so many times people rush exactly what they want for their goal. So I want to let you know right now that you can take a moment, you can take a deep breath, and you can actually just sit with it. Sit with it, take a deep breath, and you will be able to figure out exactly get really clear on what you actually want if you give it that space after you write it down. So I feel like that's really important to understand. The second step of this is getting super specific, not just saying, I want to get fit, or I just want to save money, or I want to be happier. Those aren't goals. Those are just wishes, and they're too broad to actually come true. It makes you sitting down kind of scrambling, what exactly do I need to do every single day? So the difference between people who reach their goals and people who don't is really the specificity, really getting specific on exactly what you want and even the time frame for that. So for example, don't say I want to get fit, say I want to do 5 unassisted pull-ups and then maybe even give it a time frame in 12 weeks, right? Don't say I want to eat better, say I'm going to meal prep lunches 4 days a week. Get very specific on what it is going to be that you are going to achieve, because when it's too broad like that, it's going to just keep it up in the air. The more specific you are, the easier it is to measure your progress, and the harder it is to let yourself off the hook. And I think also when you don't get really specific, this is where you can start to get in this spiral of just always feeling like you're failing, because you're saying to yourself, I want to get fit every single day. I want to get fit. I want to get fit. I want to get fit. Okay, cool. That's great. What does getting fit look like? What does that look like for you weekly? Let's get really specific on that. And again, we're utilizing the example of getting fit, but this works with anything that you do. If you can do it for one goal, maybe even reflect back on a goal that you got really specific on that you were able to achieve. Maybe you're in sales and you hit your sales target number, whatever it might be. Look back on what you did for that and know that it can work repeatedly for any other goal that you have, whether it be personal, business, career, relationship, whatever it might be. Step 3, break your goal into micro goals, okay? Big goals can be super paralyzing, and saying things like, I want to lose 50 pounds or I want to start the business. I mean, that's a huge goal to have. So instead, let's break it down, okay? What can you do this month? What can you do this week? What can you do today? The micro goals keep you moving forward and keep the momentum alive. If you crush the small steps consistently, the big goal becomes inevitable. It just happens, right? So remember, small wins stack. Micro goals build macro momentum. So how can you actually break this up? And if you're having a hard time doing that, because I know for me personally, I like to think about the big things, right? I think we are so lucky right now in this day and age to have things like AI and ChatGPT or whatever software that you use, right? Because what you can do is you can go into ChatGPT, you can set your specific goal in there and you can say, hey, ChatGPT, I want you to act as an expert coach or an expert goal organizer, whatever you want to call it. You can put in your specific goal. You can say, I want to break this up into 7 steps, or I want to break this into the monthly, weekly, daily steps that I can do to actually achieve this by this certain date. And once you have that and you put that in there, it can do all the heavy lifting and hard data for you, which is actually really, really cool. So I've actually done that in one of my keynotes. I showed them a prompt that they could use and we could actually break it down so that you can break it up into those micro steps for you. So again, how awesome is that we have a tool that we can utilize right now to help us break it down when it gets a little tough. And then all you're going to do is you're just going to focus on that one simple piece. That is it. You're not going to look at the other ones. You're not going to stop until you finish the first step. Okay. And we do the same exact thing in my pull-up revolution program, right? I broke the pull-up down into 8 phases because what I noticed is every single time that I was teaching women how to get their first pull-up, they were constantly like going up there to try and do this pull-up and they were shaking their head like, I suck, I'm so bad, blah, blah, blah. And that was making the process so hard and so tedious, right? So I broke it up into 8 phases and they would determine what phase they were at on day 1. And their goal was never to go from phase 1 to phase 8. It was to go from phase 1 to phase 2, phase 2 to phase 3, and only focus and hone in on that specific goal so that once they nailed that, they were able to move on to the next one. And do the same thing with my ACL. When I tore my ACL, I wanted to go jump off and do all the ninja stuff after I tore my ACL on American Ninja Warrior. But instead, I utilized exactly what I was using with my clients. I broke it into micro steps and I had to focus just on day 1 after tearing my ACL, just getting the strength back in my quad because your muscle just disappears. I then had to focus on getting a slight bend in my leg again and moving it. So breaking it down to those little steps and then really celebrating each step along the way as well, right? So it's really important once you do set those up, figure out what things you really enjoy and what you really like. Again, you can even tell ChatGPT all the things you love and celebrate it once you hit that micro win. So it makes the process and the journey 10 times more fun than sitting there and just beating yourself up that you're not at the end destination every single day. A reminder, these macro steps that build macro momentum, this is what I like to call the hallway in between. This is where we are going to spend the most of our lives. So we might as well enjoy the hell out of it, you know? Step 4, set a realistic timeline, okay? If you don't set deadlines, your brain doesn't take the goal seriously, okay? You need some kind of urgency, but not impossible urgency, right? So don't try to transform your entire life in 30 days. It's not sustainable. You want to choose a realistic timeline. It's so easy for us to want to pack as much as we can for this goal as quickly as we can, but really set something up that you know is like, it's inevitable that you're going to make it, right? So ask yourself, what is a timeline I can actually commit to? And then break it up. One goal for the year, smaller goals for the month, and then weekly check-ins. Your timeline should stretch you, but it should not break you. And again, you can absolutely use our tools like ChatGPT to help you with this. And I think so often we also try and do too much at once, right? And then we almost like, not maybe on purpose, we kind of sabotage our success because we put too much on our plate for whatever that goal is right away. And we almost set ourselves up to fail. We really do. I mean, have you ever seen like your to-do list? I mean, I know my to-do list, sometimes it's so long that I'm like, there's no way I'm going to finish all this stuff. Or some days I actually go in thinking I'm going to finish it. So instead, every single day, I set 3 top priorities and I say to myself, as long as I finish those 3 things, and it's things that I know no matter what I am going to complete, I will win. Because instead of setting yourself up for failure, which is sometimes what we do on accident, really when you're thinking about those goals, like just set something up that you like, there's no way you're not going to not make it. And if you get it sooner, if you get the things done sooner, if you hit that goal sooner, hallelujah, amazing. But if you try and set the deadline too quickly and then you just set yourself up to fail, it might make you feel not so great. So really think about that as you're going through your goal. And again, really utilize the tools that we have like ChatGPT to help you really define how long you think it will really take you to do some of these things in order to be successful. Step 5, make a very clear action plan, okay? This is where most people totally drop the ball, right? They have the goal, they have the timeline, but then they never actually map out the how. Right? It's basically like the business plan for your life, right? Basically like the workout plan or the, if you're in sports and you had a plan to hit a certain, like I was in gymnastics, every single time I was going to hit a competition, I had a plan, right? You need a clear, actionable plan. So if your goal is to feel stronger, what's your training schedule like? Let's really define that. If your goal is to save money, what's your exact savings plan? If your goal is to eat healthier, what's your grocery list and what's your strategy for that? Break it all down. Write out what needs to happen again, daily and weekly, and then ask yourself the most important question. How am I going to make this even easier on myself? Remove any friction. Prep your gym bag the night before. Set the reminders. Find accountability, whether it be with a coach or a friend or somebody that's also has similar goals to you, right? A goal without a plan is just a dream. I'm going to say it again. A goal without a plan is just a dream. And this is going to be a broken record on this podcast here today. But again, you can absolutely utilize your ChatGPT to help you with your plan. You can ask it to act as an expert coach in anything. So it will be able to at least map out your plan for you. However, what it does not give you is accountability. And sometimes that accountability is something we truly need, which is why I know in the space and the day and age that we're in, there's a lot of coaches and mentors and stuff like that out there. And everyone's like, well, we have AI, so we can figure it out on our own and we don't need people. But a lot of times you still do need that accountability. You do still need somebody to check in on you, make sure you are headed in the right direction, right? So getting a coach, whether it be somebody from my team of coaches or whether it be somebody else, very important. Or having an accountability partner like a friend or someone that you meet with weekly. I know I have a coaching friend, Erin, who I'm obsessed with. She's amazing. And we decided that we were going to meet every single week. We put it on our Google Calendar and we're meeting every single week to hold each other accountable and push each other in different ways. So whatever that might look like for you, just know the plan is absolutely important. You can have ChatGPT map out your plan, but also the accountability is going to be very, 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 very key in order for you to actually do these things, right? I know for me, if I sign up for a fitness class here in Austin, like I'm going to show up. If I just put the workout in my schedule, it's easier for me to like not show up, right? So I planned it out, but maybe I didn't show up. So I do think that having the plan, very important. Having the accountability, also very, very important. So map out your plan using ChatGPT. If you want me to make a prompt for you, let me know. I absolutely will. Just make sure that you leave a review on the podcast and then send me an email and be like, Angela, I want the ChatGPT prompt. That would be awesome. And I'd love to help you out with your goals. I'm also going to be hosting a vision board workshop. So just stay tuned for that. Keep your eye out for it. The vision board workshop is going to go through all the goals. And we're actually going to sit down and like do it together. Step 6, stack your habits and don't overwhelm yourself. If you try to overhaul your entire life overnight, you're going to burn out by like week 2, okay? So instead, do what James Clear says from the Atomic Habits, and he talks all about habit stacking. Start with one new habit and nail it, then add the next one. You don't need to do everything perfectly, and you don't need to do it all at once. You just need to do something, and you need to do it consistently. It's like training. You build strength by adding load and adding weight progressively, okay? Not all at once. So if your goal requires 5 new habits, Just master one of the new habits before adding the other and make sure you can actually nail it down. And that's how you build systems that actually last. And I just wanted to get up to show you this. I have a habit tracker that I personally use. And what I love about it is it has my daily, weekly, monthly goals. And I put this right next to my first habit in the morning, which is waking up and, well, I guess technically I wake up, make my bed, but then I go grab one glass of water and I just drink it. And what's great is then I just check that off right away. So I know that I did that. That is something that I know inevitably I'm going to do, and I always do it, right? And then I kept stacking habits on it. And I want to show you a good one that I had. This is like my new one. Oh, here we go. And then I kept building up my habits to be successful. And I had different things in my habit tracker. I had what I wanted to do to get hotter. I want to stay hot, and I want to, as I'm aging, I'm 35 years old, I want to be as hot as I can be and strong. I want to get richer, and I want to master my craft. So I have all the stuff for my business that I need to do that it's probably the hardest part when you own a business is making sure that you're actually making money. I feel like it's really easy to like make sure that your clients are taken care of and stuff like that. It's just that sales part. And then the mastering my craft, like speaking and making sure my clients are checked in with. So I would stack my habits, and I would make sure that when I do my habits, these first couple, the ones to get hotter, I just do it in the morning. Like I'm able to get all this stuff done within probably like 30 minutes, which is pretty great. And then maybe the workouts like later in the day, but I stacked it next to something that I knew I was doing. I was waking up, I was drinking that water. Cool. What can I do right after drinking my water, right? I could do my 10 squats, 10 glute bridges, 10 V-ins, 10 push-ups, 10 pull-ups, which is called my 5 in 5 minutes to make sure that I'm still doing movement no matter what. So I just want to show you how simple you can make it. I know there's a lot of apps and phones and stuff like that. I've always just liked the paper tracker. I don't know. There's something about a paper tracker. I just like it. It's right in front of me. It makes me not go on my phone, which I think is really important. So you don't need to do all this whole list that I have here, right? Because I just want to let you see that I started off with like maybe one of these in each section. And then as I nailed it down, as it became second nature, then I added the next one. So that's what you can do with your habit tracker. And again, message me if you want me to create a habit tracker for you, because I can. And step 7, which sometimes is the hardest one, which is knowing your why. This one is truly everything, okay? When things get hard, which they will because life is hard, your why and the reason why you're doing this is going to keep you from quitting. Why does the goal matter to you? Is it about confidence? Is it about health? Is it about freedom? Is it showing your kids what is possible? Is it living a longer, healthier life? If your why doesn't move you emotionally, it won't move you to act when motivation fades. It needs to move you emotionally. So write it somewhere, you'll see it every day. And when you want to give up, read it out loud. Read that why out loud. Why are we doing this? Why are you working out? For me now, working out is so much more than what my body looks like, even though I have my hotter thing on the list. It's about having energy. It's about showing up as a better speaker, right? That's what will get you through the days when discipline feels hard, because it's going to feel hard. This is not going to be easy by any means. Anyone online who's making it seem easy, they're lying. This stuff is not easy. It's obviously easy on the good days, but on the hard days, So let's just run through all this again. First thing, get clear on what you actually want. Give yourself some time for that. Step 2, get specific and make it measurable. Break it into micro goals. Set a realistic timeline. Build an actual action plan. Utilize ChatGPT. And stack your habits gradually. Know your why. If you do these 7 things, and when you do these 7 things and you really do them, you'll stop setting goals that you'll never reach and start building habits that actually make success automatic. Okay? We want this to be long-term stuff that you can actually do forever. No more short-term. Okay? That's why I hate New Year's resolution. Like, no, we're changing the narrative this year. But my friends, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope this helps you set your goals for 2026 and gives you confidence and clarity. Like I said, I'll be doing a vision board workshop, so watch out for that so you can sign up and we'll go through it together. And if this episode hit home for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to follow What If It All Goes Right on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And if you haven't yet, please take a second to leave a rating or review. It helps more of you know what this means, and it would totally mean the world to me. And remember, your goals aren't perfection. They're about progress. So show up, stay consistent, and believe in what is possible, because there is so much that is absolutely possible for you, okay? When you give yourself a real plan. So let's go make it happen, because what if it all goes right? What if it's already going right? I'll see you next time.